All right, YouTube. So, the last Sake Talking Head one that you watched, most likely anyways, is how to use Inkscape to make some graphics and borders. Well, this time, this video is actually going to be about how to turn whatever you've recorded, anything else like that you've done through OBS or whatever software you're using, into a video to post onto YouTube. That's where you're seeing this. However, you're not just limited to that. You could literally take old footage of a stream, chop it down, edit it. I'm going to show you how to do some of that stuff in this video here. It's not the perfect guide, but I think it's going to work for everything you'll kind of need, at least to get started. Let's get into it.
Release the Kraken!
All right. So, I don't want this to look too crazy. So, first we're gonna go to the small cam view, Shazam, and we already have HitFilm Express open. Now for now, I'm just gonna have my camera. I didn't like being alone. No, I'm just gonna hide the camera for now. I'm gonna show you a little bit about this. So, you're just gonna go up here and go to New. I record all my footage at 1080p, 60 frames per second. So I'm gonna leave it at that. This is where you could tweak it though to be whatever. The sample rate, the two most common will probably be 44:1 or 48. Truthfully, doesn't matter. I would say try to match whatever you have on OBS. So I do 44:1. Now you're gonna be hit with this. Now I know you're probably looking at it and be like, what the heck do you do? Well, I'm gonna explain each little area and then show you how we go or what we do from there. Let's get into that. Bottom left side here is where you're gonna drag all your files and everything you need to make the video. The right side here is literally your editor. The top right window here is to watch whatever you drag in here. So if I were to hit play and I have something, as this plays, you'll see the timer up here goes up too. It just follows along. Top left, might as well just show it. It's probably the easiest way. So let's first drag and drop a couple assets here that I'm gonna need. So as soon as I click on an asset or an item on the left here in media, I'll actually see it up there and I can hit play. This way we can watch it back. Pretty gruesome. Yeah! But the reason I wanted to show this first is I actually plan to make like a little intro video thing for my buddy here, CrispyBanGaming. Shazam. But in order to do this, we're gonna need to do a few things first. So, this took forever to draw. You have no idea how long it took to draw this. It's not even perfect, but you know, it'll work. Much like the video that I did for him before, I actually have like a very quick snippet of one, but I kind of wanted to do a better animated version of it. You know what? I might as well bring it up here just so you can see it. First, you're gonna just pick the very first item that you wanna make your main shot with. So, I'm gonna start with showing one of his favorite characters, is Derriere. I'm just gonna drag and drop. Then I'm gonna drag and drop. I mean, I could keep dragging and dropping more, it doesn't matter, but I'm gonna kind of edit everything through this one video file here. So if I were to hit play, it's literally gonna be just her animation. Now I realize that this is all gonna be kind of lower quality, and then you can kind of see the mouse pointers here and here. So I'm gonna be re-recording this in a higher one, but this just to give you like a sample of how it's done. So with it on the right here, if you want to be able to do edits and things like that, you're gonna right click on it and choose Make Composite Shot. This is the one that now you'll be given all your different layers, so I could do whatever I need to on this. So if I want to have an animated sword, as a quick example, come down and kind of like make the transition. Like that's what's going to swoop into the next animation. This is how I'm going to do it. And you can also rotate it to get the proper angle of attack. If you hold control, actually you don't even have to, sorry. I'm used to Inkscape already. You can just scroll your mouse in and out, done deal. If you right click on something, you can drag the whole thing over. The reason I wanted to show that, you can resize right from here. Now, if you hold nothing when you're resizing, you change literally all the dimensions of it, flip it back and forth. If you hold control, it's going to resize it to the bottom left down there. If I hold control and shift, now it's going to retain its full entire ratios. So now as it sweeps by, I kind of want it to sweep by and more or less not even show all. Yeah, that would be perfect. I actually kind of like that angle. So I'm going to kind of place the blade. If we zoom in a little bit in the top corner, you'll actually see I'm going to place it just on the outside of it. And this is so I can get some animations going. I might not even have the video start at the beginning where it is. What I might even do is have maybe it start with his emblem or whatever you'd want to call this, a profile image. And then we'll kind of go from there. Now, if I just drag and drop this in here on the left, it'll place it so it's right there. But if I wanted it to come in at a very specific keyframe, I can actually drag and drop and place it like this. So if I hit play, it won't show up until it reaches that marker. So just little things to learn as you're editing videos, and layers matter. So if I put this below, you'll never be able to see that little image, even though I have it there, because it's underneath my video. It would have to be above my video to at least show up. You can also put your different sound files on the left. So if I wanted it to have some really cool sounds, say something from the anime itself, but let's say we wanted a drum roll in here. I can then drag and drop wherever I want to place it. Audio files don't matter because there's nothing visual. You can place it on the bottom. And if you want to change when it cuts in and out. But for some advanced tools, on the left here, say I wanted the drum roll to kind of slowly fade out when it gets to the end. If we go ahead and click on this, you'll see audio, and then you have your decibel reading. So everything by default is going to be standard. There's no changes. I want it to start loud and start from here getting quieter. So if I go ahead and click on this and I do Alt-T, this will toggle a keyframe. So it knows from this keyframe it needs to be at 0. And say I want it to be literally not able to be heard, and here, just put another number. I do -60 because it's completely gone by then. But maybe you want it to be just ever so slightly quieter to -20. Let's play this back to give you an idea. Very simple stuff. If you don't like when it, say, fades out and you want it to be a little quicker, I could literally move it in like that. You can toggle as many keyframes as you want. So let's say I want it to be quiet by there and truly dead silent at the very end. I can literally just go -60. It'll force in that keyframe. So things like that. I can do other effects too. Maybe you want the image to come in right at the start. Right? Remember, has to be above everything. Let's say I want it to start literally dead center, but I want it to be able to expand and slowly show the expanding of it. It's actually very easy to do. So there's a few ways to do this one. You're going to click on the left here and go to transform and then scale. So I want it to start at 100%, and I'm at the far left. I'm just going to go again, click on it and go Control or Alt T. And perhaps by the end of the drum roll, let's say I want it to cover the whole screen. Well, I just start keying in numbers to see. So 500 is almost perfect. 600 would be. Now, if I scroll all the way back, you'll see it slowly expands out. Kind of neat effects. You could even slow it down if you want. So maybe by here, I want it to only have expanded up to 150, and then it ramps up really quickly. So you'll see, and then all of a sudden, boom. So there's a ton of little neat effects that you can do. And if you wanted to rotate it, so say I want it to start spinning, I'm literally going to click on rotation, toggle in a keyframe. It's very important. You better make sure you have these, otherwise it won't know what you're trying to tell it to do. And maybe by the end here, I want it to have spun 10 times. So over here, I'll literally just type out 10. So now if I hit play, that's not necessarily an effect I want to go for, but just to show, it's actually very easy to use. It's not too crazy. Then if I go back to the editor, so again, we have this first little video. I'm going to hit Composite Shot just to show you what I'm trying to tell you right now. And I'm going to have this fade out. You know what? Let's just show that too. Under opacity or opacity, so let's say by the time it hits full size, I want it to start fading out. So then I can go Alt T to key it in. And let's say I want it to fade out over a few seconds. Literally hit 0. Just show the animation one more time. And then of course it'll play its animation, everything else. But this will only play for that first, however long it is. If I want to shrink it, very easy to just slide this over. Now what I'd recommend doing, because it's easier to place things, let's say you want it to fade out here. You can actually go ahead and click and then drag it right to the line so it snaps into place so it knows where to end it. If I go back here, it'll actually just be blank. So you can actually zoom this in and make sure you don't miss the right moment. So I'm going to keep going until it goes black. And over here is one way that you can skip forward and back a frame. But if you hit the comma and the period, you can actually go, so comma will go left. So back a frame, and then period will go right a frame. I'll keep going until it goes black. Now I can actually drag this, so I've cropped it perfectly. I'm gonna zoom back out. So let's say I wanted to go from that animation there, and then before it cuts out, I wanna have that, the blade that I made kind of swoop across the screen. I'm probably going to do that under the composite side. And this is where I might work on a bit more. But let's just zoom out and show you how to do that. So we already know where the blade is, just up here. So I'm going to have it start there. I'm going to go to all my behaviors and everything, transform. I'm going to lock in both the scale in case I screw something up, and then position. And maybe by the time it goes all white, I want the blade to have already passed all the way through. By simply dragging it, it actually knows what I want to do. So let's just show it in real time. We've already set the keyframe for it to come in here, and then it's going to swipe very quickly. Now that was way too fast to go. Maybe I want it to take a little bit longer. But this is where playing around with it gives you an idea of what to do. Let's say I was happy with this and this is all I wanted to do. Obviously, I'm going to do a whole lot more. I'm going to have probably this one come in as well. Let's see, where did I place the video? So somewhere there. And then the transition would be like it cuts into the next scene. You can actually set under effects. And this is going to be something I do a whole lot more in detail. But if you do set matte layer, you could tell this to come in at a very specific keyframe. Let's just say I was happy with that. You just go export, and I personally always go to add to queue and go contents. This way you can have a full setup of everything you've worked on. And then if you're prepping a few videos, you literally can export them all at once. So you can start doing all the crunching of it that you need to do. Sometimes this will be a way that you can set up to be a bit more efficient. And there's obviously a lot more you can do with HitFilm. There's a ton of effects that I didn't get to go over. Honestly, HitFilm would probably need 30 different videos to show everything it can do. There's blurring effects. There is how to add different gradients to things. Honestly, you could change so much of it. Showing a full animation of this would take forever. What I'm gonna do is, as soon as this portion's over, I'm gonna show you the live video of it so you can actually see what the finished product looks like. And then it'll kind of be fun to see what we've kept. So check it out right now.
One eternity later.
All right, so we have done a lot of edits since starting that little video I was doing for CrispyBang. So that's actually what I kind of ended with. So originally I had the two characters that he wanted in it, but something told me after talking with him as well, it's too long. It was like a 30-second clip. And then this is what I ended with, and I'll show you the layers and kind of how to go from there. Almost the exact same thing. I just literally cut out one of them, add a little bit more of the sound in there with his laugh, but that was about it. Now I'm gonna go back to just his file. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. So you'll actually see there's 24 different layers to this whole entire video. Each one has its own little thing. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here, just so you can see how each layer will actually interact. So starting from the bottom. So the bottom one here is actually the image of Bond himself. The plane itself, let's zoom out, is literally so when things are sliding, it might move with it. The plane I'm actually not even using. I could literally minimize it, don't show it, doesn't matter. So that part doesn't matter. Actually, the very bottom layer there also doesn't matter. It's kind of funny. I could actually get rid of some of these files, but it worked in the end. So where I have certain things showing up and it scans right through. And the way I got a lot of these effects is by using a plain layer, which could just be black, and then setting... Let me actually use the proper one here. Where is Bond's picture? Down here, I think. There we go. So I set a matte layer to plain 1, which just down here. So that tells me this layer here, his image will start to appear as soon as the sword or the dagger actually goes through. As we scroll through this here, let me just click that off. Everything is set to literally come in at a very specific time. Just like the sound effect here, the oof. Right there. If I find it down in here, you can see where I have it set, because the sound effect doesn't happen the moment you hear his voice. Just like that. And then the gushing sound. Right here. So that little squishing sound. Guess I could zoom it in a little bit. And then to get the image right there, so you can also select it and it'll show up in here too. under transform, I literally just have different keyframes to tell it to grow to a different size. So it starts at 0, so it can come in from the background till it hits 100%, and then I have it slowly grow, and then barely any growth until we get close to the end here. And then it just stays still before it just blows up. And I have it growing all the way till the very end. This way it doesn't look like a stationary image till it ends. So this is a quick example. This took a long time to make, don't get me wrong. There's people who could probably do this in, I don't know, 25 minutes or less. There's a lot of, let's try this, let's try that to make it work. But something like this here is what you can do. This is now an intro that he can play on every single video he does. And this is something that I kind of want to do for myself. It's very similar to my Release the Kraken video that I have. That's more like a 4-second thing that happens, but this is more of like a promotional thing. He only does content for 7 Deadly Sins. I think this looks super legit. Whether he uses it in every video, that's up to him. But I just wanted to make something, show my appreciation. He's been trying to shout me out a little bit. It shows. So this is kind of like my token as a thank you. Obviously, I hope that you're watching this so you can see the thank you actually happen. There we go. Illusion shattered. Look at the room. It's a mess. I still got my Goku and Charizard. Can't forget to shout him out. If you like videos like this, maybe you want to... Maybe I could do a live stream on this if you want to see how to make a whole video from start to end. It'd be super boring for a lot of people, but could be fun interactivity. Let me know. Comment down below. I need your support. I need your help to make this happen. I want to see what we can do with this. But, as usual, until next time, everyone, take care.